see, and then right there, right there, it's just like a comedy class.
Oh
right?
my
It's like
God.
it's like a riffing comedy class. It's like playing the dozens, the roast, the whole shebangaroo the whole time. It's staying sharp, things like that. That's an amazing story. That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
The other thing that's great is that, the quarantine hit us all hard as far as comedians, because, some of us, like Lionel talked last week, how he was ready to go on tour with Martin Lawrence, and that was supposed to get going, and that got pushed back to right now, September, and hopefully that goes off. So a lot of us stopped working and things like that. So there's two things I wanted to get into. First thing, Sherwin he was doing a show with Brandon Wiley in his apartment. All right, they were doing it on Sundays, and like you guys were charging on Cash App.
It was $1 to watch the show, but nobody ever paid the $1. They always paid more just because, just to be nice. But yeah, we were charging $1 every Sunday live on Facebook.
Yeah, so that was, and that's an example of how many comedians were trying to improvise, come up with different income streams to try and stay sharp and doing comedy. Because I did some Zoom shows, and they always ended up being kind of like what we're doing here right now, right? We didn't really do any sets. We would start having conversations instead of doing sets. And I found when I did my set last Sunday, I was so rusty. I started falling apart in the particles, man. It was just crazy. And what's so crazy, this is what it is. See, the audience doesn't know you're rusty, all right? Because after the show, everyone's telling me that was great. That was a great set. And I'm feeling good, right? Then I listened to the tape the next day. My mother didn't even laugh when I had the tape on. My mother looked at me. She goes, "What the fuck is that? That's not comedy," right? And that was from my own mother. So that's how I knew. But the audience had no idea how terrible it was. I mean, I had some callbacks and I hit my punches and all that, but it just wasn't crisp. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that what we normally get. And Sherwin, when you were doing the show, did you find that it wasn't as crisp, or how was it when you guys were doing the Zoom show? Because we're not getting that reaction from the audience.
Oh my God. It was so awkward because we had the phone set up on a tripod and we were literally performing to the phone, and you can't hear anybody screaming. There's no gunshots. It was just weird. Like it just seemed so off to me. But, we eventually started to get used to it. And as Stephen was saying, that's something you got to get used to, because eventually for all of us, the goal is to get on TV. And when you're talking to a teleprompter or you're in front of a green screen or whatever, you've got to be able to handle that kind of environment. So it did prove very beneficial. But in the beginning, it was weird. It was very awkward.
Right. Well, no, that part, you're right about the television deal, and what happens in our particular business as we continue to grow and get better, and that becomes part of what we do, then that's just another thing that we learn to do well anyway, eventually. I was watching a little bit of Joe Coy yesterday, and because I normally don't watch comedy specials or comedy generally, except in comedy clubs. And that was my general rule when I first started, because I didn't want to pick up on anyone's mannerisms or anything like that. But I'm past that now, and so I don't worry about that. So every now and then I like it. And I was watching Joe Coy, and he was talking about about why he calls himself Joe Coy. And while he was performing the bit, he talked about how he's been doing it 30 years in open mic, and it just it reminded me of the work that we have to do where we started from, hitting those open mics every day, doing that 3 or 4 minutes, trying to get good, trying to enjoy it at the same time, try and have fun with it, and how tough it is. But then eventually we get pretty decent at it. We become consistent with it. And it's just like what you're talking about. That's what happens when you get into the TV end of it, whether it's you're acting on a sitcom, or, it's just like me. I'm going into my second month here on doing this weekly podcast. And, and it's kind of hit or miss. Some weeks are better than others. It's just, that's the way it is. When I review it, I'm like, oh, that wasn't as great as I thought it was. Or sometimes it's, oh, it was a lot better than I thought it was. So, it just really happens, just how it happens to turn out. So I'm just kind of happy. So now you're doing the show with Brandon. You're doing it to a telephone, right? You're not getting the reaction, right? Do you feel like the timing is still kicking ass? Are you still marinating the punch? Are you hitting the punch and thinking that everyone's laughing and you're marinating the punch, or are you just going right through it?
When we first started, I would just go right through it.
Hey, I'm in. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
There he is.
Hey, yo, check the, hold up. Check the guy. Make sure he don't got no bomb, man. He all
right? See, now we're gonna see.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is what happens. If Sherwin,
you think I'm gonna send explosives to blow up his computer and over the Wi-Fi and into your apartment lineup? If I could do such a thing, believe me, this would have been done long ago.
Hey, Sherwin, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Oh man, you look cleaner than Bob Barker, man, from The Price is Right. You look good.
I appreciate it, man. You look like you just got out.
Yeah, I know. You was my public defender. Bigg Weezy.
What's up, baby? I don't see where's Lionel? I don't see him.
They're gonna that boy Kendro. Hey, Kendra, you look like you about to be in Boomerang too.
I'm just ready in case the COVID police come around. I can just do this.
Bang bang. What's up, y'all? What y'all talking about?
These virtual backgrounds got me feeling like I'm in these Bin Laden videos where he's sitting in the. You remember those Bin Laden videos where he had the AK-47 and a picture of the fake mountains behind him? I like this shit, boy. This got me feeling like back in the old country.
How much money you want? How much money you want?
Yeah.
How much money you want? What's the hostage?
Yeah, Herb is the only one on this podcast that's blinking SOS as a hostage. His eyelids.
Oh my God.
Oh, you clean. What's up? What y'all talking about?
Well, right now we were talking about Sherman used to do a show on Sundays with Brandon Wiley, right? And we were talking about.
Shout out to Brandon Wiley, man. That's a funny ass comedian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
shout out to Brandon.
Listen here, man. Look. I love greatness, man. I love greatness. And Sherwin, you're one of the great. Sherwin, you're one of the greats. Brandon Wiley, Weezy. Listen, that motherfucking Brandon Wiley, man. He's the best old man ever, man. I'm talking about Sherwin,
Yeah, Brandon, Lionel is telling the truth here. Brandon is a 90-year-old, 30-year-old old Southern black man. I called, just to prove to you, I called Brandon on the phone once, okay?
Right.
And I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating. I called him, and he answered the phone, and I said, "Hey, Brandon, how you doing?" "Oh, shit, baby, I can't call it with 2 dimes in the phone, but what's going on with you?" 30 years old. 30 years old. What 30-year-old speaks that way? What 30-year-old man speaks that way?
Right.
I swear to God. No, hey, Sherwin, I swear to God, you blacker than all of us, man. You being around that guy is funny, man.
He's very funny, very talented. He's
very talented.
Out of my house, but he's a good guy.
Very talented. So now you're doing the comedy show in your living room or whatever room you're using.
Yep.
Right, to the phone.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's no reaction like we normally get when we're on stage, where we let the punch marinate, and
I let it marinate, and it was so obvious that I artificially paused throughout the whole thing. I thought I was bombing, and then I finished, and I go back and I'm reading the comments, because when you're in that live thing, it records them, and they were actually laughing. There was a bunch of smiley faces, but I didn't see any of that. So I thought, to comedians, silence means you're failing.
Right.
But you know what? That's not true though. I used to start that silence mean you're failing, but I think silence is beautiful, man, because they're listening.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
And
yes.
So that's the beauty. When you got them to listen, it's like, yo, you better come with something big.
No, you're absolutely right, Lionel. But the problem is they were listening the whole fucking show.
You couldn't get one line.
Dude, it was pitch silent in this room. I'm like, I'm bombing. Oh my God. What am I doing? Oh my God, I gotta stop. And then I finish and I go look at the comments and it's a bunch of smiley faces. I'm like, holy shit.
So basically it's what we're doing now, but without talking to someone.
Imagine if we were all on mute and you couldn't even see our faces and you're just talking into the back of the phone.
Right.
All right. Okay. All right. I get you.
Like, we're not used to that.
Right.
Man. Yeah, right. I haven't done one. Matter of fact, I done one. This girl from Atlanta, she asked me to do hers, and I looked, and she had like a backdrop, but it was a sheet. I was like, what is this? It was crazy, man. I was like, nah, people was walking around getting potato salad. I was like, nah.
I completely understand, but I'll tell you the one thing. These Zoom things, they annoy the hell out of me.
But he heard potato salad, didn't he?
That's all
he heard. He heard potato salad. But listen, it's crazy, man. Then you got the little baby mama. I'm like, damn. I'm trying to do a show, and is this show all the damn speakeasies? What's going, mama?
I'll tell you
potato salad at? Who ate all the potato salad? Then they keep looking in the mother. We going live. Is this live? Are we live?
That's my boy Lionel Dalton right there. Anybody that's on Instagram, remember podbrothernation.com if you want to check out what everybody looks like, or you can stay right there on Instagram.
Hey Weezy,
yes.
You look like you was Martin Luther King security back in the day. I swear to God.
See, you know what? I hate look. When I used to travel with Katt, all right, because I always wear either gray or a black T-shirt. Right. I'm traveling with Katt, and people would walk up to me like I'm security, say, "Listen, you think I can get a picture with Katt Williams?" And I would be like, "I don't know, so aren't you security?" I said, "No, I'm a comedian." Right?
You should have charged them $100. Yeah,
this is the problem. The problem
at least they
don't
tell you they love what
run.
you've done with the building. Everywhere I go with you guys, they think I own the fucking building. They wouldn't even believe I'm a comedian.
That part's true. That's part true. They just walk up to you and start handing you rent checks. He says, "Looks like this."
One dude gave me the valet ticket to his car. I'm like, I'm not no fucking valet driver.
Hey, show, you fun. You funny as shit too, man. I always admire your work, bro.
Appreciate
it. Like you come to the J spot. The J spot is like, shout out to J. Anthony Brown too. The J spot is one of the hardest rooms in Los Angeles.
Right.
Because those folks, they see like this, even working in Los Angeles, man, everybody has seen everybody.
Right.
They seen Eddie Murphy, they seen Martin Lawrence, they just seen Richard Pryor. Los Angeles is like one of the hardest places to make laugh because they're like, yo, the best of the best came here. So what you got?
Right.
That's exactly.
They seen Robin Harris. They seen everybody, man. So it's
true. That's very.
I didn't understand it until I was like, yo, I learned how to do comedy, stand-up comedy, in the hardest place ever. Los Angeles is the hardest place.
Yes. Absolutely.
I went to Atlanta, and it was just, I was like, this is a little too easy.
Right. You know what's so crazy, Lionel? Check this out.
Mm-hmm.
And Sherwin too, because Sherwin has conquered all these hard places. What happens is that when I go to Vegas, Sherwin and I is going to Vegas. I always tell Sherwin, this is a comedy vacation. Our worst comedian in LA can kick ass in Las Vegas. And I'm not trying to put Las Vegas down.
Wow.
I just had this conversation. I did an interview a couple of nights ago, and they were talking about the city, about me coming to the city and perhaps teaching comedy. And I told him I'd love to come down there and spread some knowledge. But the problem is that it doesn't make any difference how great someone gets there. They have to be here in Los Angeles. They got to be here in Hollywood, where the bar is set high every night. When you when Lionel used to work at the Comedy Store, I'm telling you, you sit there in the Comedy Store and people are working through their shit. Okay, and there are some people that are sitting that are not really versed in comedy. You might not think it's kick-ass comedy. Some of that shit is really kick-ass comedy.
But I'm gonna be honest with you, and no disrespect to the Comedy Store, nothing like that. Like, I respect the Comedy Store. Comedy Store showed me love. But
yes,
the Comedy Store for me was like that was easy. That's easy.
Yes, of course.
Me, you know.
Yes.
But the J spot, the hood, man.
No, it's a completely different animal. When I'm talking about at the Comedy Store, I'm talking about the quality of writing versus the quality of the stand-up. All right.
Okay, writing is pretty different.
Yeah,
but Sherwin don't like the Comedy Store. Go ahead, tell him, Sherwin.
I personally, I just, the vibe I get when I'm in there, it's got a grimy, dungeony kind of, you could tell
that's
people
correct.
were tortured. There's trap doors in there. And like, I like more like, like improv and those type of places. I'm not,
we like the friendliness. This is what it is. Okay. Lionel knows, Sherwin knows, because they know parts of me that others haven't had the opportunity to learn. They know how I feel about the comedy game, about the technical part of the comedy game, the business side of it, the grind part of it. All right. And what happens is what Sherwin's talking about is when you go to the improv, at least what I'm hearing, when you go to the improv, all right, those people there are just fucking professional, long-time comedians. They are humble. And I don't mean, when I say humble, I mean they talk to you like you can talk with Dave Chappelle. Anybody there, you can talk, you can have a good time. Now, the Comedy Store, those people are trying to climb someplace. So yes, it's a little bit, there's a little bit of a tenseness going.
With me, I had the opportunity to work at the Comedy Store.
Yes.
So I've been working there for like almost a year, and I had the opportunity to see. It's a difference.
Yes.
It's a difference of the comedy game of how it is. So a lot of people, it's a system at the Comedy Store, and I was fortunate to get through the system and understand the system. But if you just go in there to hang out, you don't to really understand the Comedy Store. You got to understand that system, and they do not let everybody get in that system.
Right.
But there's also there's an exploitation factor that you have to play, when you're at a certain level at these places as well.
What you mean by that?
Well, it's the comedy club wants to exploit you in certain ways in order for you to get stage time, or in order for you to work with certain comics that you want to work with. There is that you have to play sometimes in those places like the store.
For me, I believe that what you're saying is true, Stephen, but I think that's just part of the process. I mean, it's almost like barking for stage time in New York. Okay, there was a series called, oh my God, I can't remember what it was. The guy was a comedian, and I remember he's trying to get stage time at the Gotham Comedy Club or the Broadway Comedy Club. Okay, and it was so crazy because the manager of the comedy club in the series was Dov Davidoff. Is that how I pronounce it? Dave Davidoff.
Hey, Sherwin. Sherwin, look. What I learned? I learned about Hollywood and comedy, stand-up comedy. This is it right here. The more famous you are, the more you come through.
Absolutely right.
That's it. That like now, if you're funny, now that takes, now you can maneuver and figure things out and create your own thing. That's a plus if you're funny.
Yeah.
But the more famous you are. I seen some famous folks perform on that stage at the Comedy Store, and I was like, yo, what you doing?
Well, that was working out.
Working out, but all I'm saying is the more famous you are, you can come through.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
That's when Hollywood, man. That's how you can get on any stage.
Yes, absolutely. At any time.
Right. Well, yeah.
Just bump people. Absolutely.
I've seen it.
Absolutely. Now, I got one for you guys. We're changing subjects here.
Mm-hmm.
Rude drivers in Los Angeles.
Oh, God.
All right. Now, as we know, during the pandemic, the freeway was wide freaking open. I mean, I was just loving the wide open 405, the 101, freeways, the 10. It was great. People were doing 110, 120 miles per hour. The CHP, I believe I read, said that 100 mile an hour speeders were up about, I think, 15 to 20% over last year. And basically, those are the ones they caught. And so now I find that the traffic has returned. There are still people still trying to drive 110 miles an hour. That's crazy. All right. I saw a person put their blinker on today, and the car next to me sped up so that they couldn't change lanes. All right. And as Lionel can attest to, because he told me this last week when we were on, when he saw me driving, how I kind of take my time, lean to the side. I've driven with Sherwin. When Sherwin's one time Sherwin and I, we were in a Charger, and Sherwin was opening that motherfucker up. It was just,
I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about.
He was, right?
I deny all allegations.
And I was just kind of taking my time. But tell me, what's your opinion on these rude ass, fast ass drivers? People won't let you over when you turn your blinker on. Won't let you.
I just bought a motorcycle, so I need to hear this.
What'd you get?
I got a Yamaha.
That's not a motorcycle, man. That's not a motorcycle.
Oh my God! Here we go.
What's the most? You drive? You got the Harleys?
Yeah, man. Get your Harley, bro.
Nah, man. I'm good. I'm a sports guy.
Okay. No, I feel you. I love those bikes too. I'm just fucking with you.
Nah,
the first thing, you'd never catch my fat ass on a motorcycle.
we should go riding, Lionel. We should go riding.
You got a Harley. You got a Harley, man. I ain't riding with no Harley.
I don't have a Harley, man. I rent whatever I want. I go rice burner or I go potato chop. It don't matter to me, man. I can ride them all.
That's some white stuff there. What are you talking about,
you got your own language? All I heard was I just heard snacks. That's what I heard. I heard snacks, and he's talking about a potato this and a.
I made two food references in a motorcycle culture.
But you know what? Hey, you know what, Weezy? I'm not really a driver like that. Like, if I gotta go somewhere, I go and come right back. I don't really drive a lot. You know, if you want to know about the bus, I can tell you about that.
Well, I don't know. Now, Sherwin, Sherwin, he likes to get to where he's going. All right. Sherwin likes to get. Now, do you drive like that with the wife and the son?
No.
Oh, so he a fast driver.
I'm not too fast, but when it's open, I might hit it a little bit. Yeah.
No. Sherwin is when the light turns yellow.
Sherwin, what you been doing all this time, man? What's going on? What you been doing in quarantine? What you been doing?
Arguing.
Really? With who? Wife?
Well, you know what? Lionel actually got into the next. Hold on for a second, Lionel. You actually got into the next topic. All right, so we may as well jump into it. What is your relationship been like?
Hey, Weezy, I'm tired of this feeling like a slideshow. What's going on, man?
It's the way it is,
try
man.
To be all professional. The next topic is.
Well, I write this shit down, and
hey, this is Weezy's show, man. He can say whatever the fuck he want to. It's his show.
Well, what happened is that.
Hey, Weezy. Yes. You don't tell Bin Laden brother to chill out.
Which one, Steven?
Steven.
Steven supplies all the hardware.
Wow.
Steven supplies all the hardware. But wait a minute, hold on. Now, we all...
I just muted his ass. Bin Laden's brother just muted Lionel. How you like that?
Leave his ass on mute.
How you like that?
I can hear myself
How
breathe.
you like that?
Lionel, speak up. I can't hear you. What was that?
Sorry. I said, what you say, bro? Huh? He was saying, what you say? I can't.
I can still hear him through my window from wherever the hell he is.
Do you know sign language, motherfucker?
All right, so now Sherwin.
Yes, sir.
You're the only one, I believe. Well, Herb, are you married, Herb?
No, I came close a couple of times, but it
Herb.
never.
Okay, now, so Sherwin, he's home married in the quarantine. Go.
Oh my God. Yeah. Listen, if you can survive being quarantined in the house with the wife and the son, you could go right into the Navy SEALs and just skip boot camp altogether. I will admit this.
It's written on your face, man. You seem frustrated, man.
The real killer is being locked in the house. I'll take my chances with the virus outside. Yeah, because it's look, men and women are not designed to spend this amount of time with each other. You need your time apart. You know, my wife, before all this started, she used to say, "Excuse me." Now she says, "Move."
Right.
You know, it's because here's where it happened. Here's the problem. Your sleep gets all messed up, right? Because you're in the house all day. So you're up late at night, you start watching TV. What comes on? Cheaters, right?
Right.
And this is the worst show to watch with your wife, because I don't care how big your dick is. I don't care how much money you got. When a woman hears the word cheat, her DNA changes from civilian to military. Okay.
Oh, man.
They go into that mode. She's watching the show, but she's talking to you. If you ever, Sherwin. And I'm like, baby, it's a show. I know it's a show, but I'm just letting you know, if you ever, now you're sitting here defending a future cheat that hasn't even happened.
That hasn't happened.
You're dead in the water. You're dead.
But what about the guy? I'm single, and when I tell you, it's man.
That's a different type of pain.
That's serious.
Yeah, because you can't date either. That's the thing. Women are scared.
Right? What chick trying to come over right now?
No.
So you should be happy, man. I'm holding this
happy.
damn pillow.
Believe me. Listen. You want the chair or you want the needle? Pick your poison. Like, which one you want, Lionel? It don't make a difference. Either way, you're done. You're finished.
Both of them are walking. Dead man walking. Either way.
Dead man walking, man.
Hey.
Like, look, my eardrums have given out. Your right forearm has given out. We're both.
I can't listen. Yo, hey, I can't even. Right. I can't even call crackheads over no more. This shit is crazy.
You know, for me,
crackheads and now I got the corona. The corona out here. Corona out here. What do you mean the corona out here? You've been doing all this stuff for years and years out. Now I'm calling the corona out here.
Now, listen. These are problems, yes, but I will tell you, nothing is more dangerous. Nothing in the world is more dangerous than a bored woman. When a woman has nothing to do, this is the most fearsome thing. The minute you sit down, honey, I was thinking we could move the steps over here. Move the steps to the fucking wall. You don't move steps.
All right, so
crazy.
So now, all right,
move
so
the
Lionel.
steps.
All right, so now, Lionel. Okay, so Lionel, you're single, man. You're a single man.
Right.
Are you dating anybody in particular now, or are you just all over the place?
I told you, man. I date all crackheads, man. I swear to God.
Right. So
I'm so tired. Hey, Weezy, I'm so tired of dating ugly girls. Oh my God, man. Hey, Weezy, your girl's prettier than my girls. I'm so tired, man. I was saying to myself, I said, "Damn, Lionel, you're a nice looking boy. You know, why you always date ugly girls?" But it makes sense. I didn't fuck crackheads my whole life in Philly. That I'm still addicted to crackheads.
You know, it's amazing because that
we need to have.
Is there a 12-step program for that bullshit?
Yeah. Well. First of all, Weezy, we got to start with the intervention. We got to get intervention first before we can get.
No, wait a minute. I would not intervene into something like this because let me tell you, if you got a steady stream of crackhead pussy, all right.
That's the best pussy in the room. That's the best pussy
That's exactly
in the
what I'm talking.
Man,
it's gotta be. Look, Herb.
But back in the Weezy, back in the day, it was cheaper. It was cheaper back in the 90s.
Right.
You know,
absolutely.
2 4 suck, 3 4 fuck.
Like he wants to try crackhead pussy right now. Look at Herb's face.
Right. You know, well, he got to start out at crackhead porn. You got to start there.
just to get some ideas.
Sherwin.
I'm sorry, Sherwin. I know Sherwin disappointed.
Sherwin is looking at this like I can't.
Where's Sherwin at? I can't see.
Sherwin would slide your finger at the bottom in the can.
I'm right here, Lionel. Don't miss me.
Sherwin,
Lionel. I'm okay.
Sherwin
it's okay.
cannot.
I'm right here. Don't worry.
Sherwin's like, there's no way in hell I'll ever have an opportunity at crackhead pussy the way things are going on in my life. I can only live through Lionel right now. I can only live through Lionel.
Listen, in my country, we're allowed to have up to 5 wives. Crackhead pussy doesn't really excite me. Okay.
Damn, 5. Woo. So you should be happy right now, then. You only got 1.
Listen, 1 wife is too much. You remember when they killed Bin Laden? He didn't fire a single fucking shot. He was ready to go. This guy was in the house, trapped with his 19 wives and the AK-47, didn't fire a single shot. He was like, take me. I'm here. Yo, Obama, here. He was ready. He had enough. Right. Remember, 19 wives mean 19 periods. No man can survive this.
Hey, bro, I cannot wait until I hear you say that on stage that my wife, she tried to move the stairs. Man, listen, when you hear somebody in the back of the audience crying, bro, that shit is hilarious.
I can't make this shit up, man. You trapped in the house. Women get bored. Even when a woman is supposed to be quiet, she tries to talk. She's like, I feel like there's something I have to say to you. No, maybe it's just our time to be quiet.
Right. You see how beautiful this quarantine is? Because the quarantine is teaching you more about yourself, and you're getting new material, and it's
I'm learning all the hiding places in my apartment. That's all I'm learning is how to fuck to hide, goddammit.
Where you be hiding at? Where you hiding at?
I hide, dude. I went into the garage. Nobody found me. We got an attached garage. I went in the car.
I was using the washer. I was using the washer too.
Sure. Listen, I got to interrupt you guys for a second. The opinions expressed on Weezy Lazafi's podcast are in no way or shape my opinion. I love all women. I'm not hiding from anybody. I think crackhead pussy is viable pussy, and I just want to put that out there, right there.
Weezy, your big ass couldn't hide from anybody, boy. Ain't no hiding. We'll find you. Yeah, you're not hiding from shit.
I ain't hiding from anybody, man.
You ever see Weezy drive? That's the coolest driver ever.
Weezy drives. Let me tell you, I was joking about this earlier, but when Weezy drives, you feel like you're in a cloud with no armrests because this motherfucker will take all the armrests from you. I call him my armrest thief. Weezy enjoys driving. I like to get to where I'm going. Weezy likes to enjoy the drive. Sherwin, look at this beautiful
and that's that's the type of person I like to ride with. I can ride with Weezy. I was with the boy named Franz Cassius. Comedian?
Oh yeah, I know Franz from New York.
Man, I drove with him, man. I swear, I didn't think he had a gas pedal. I'm talking about everything was.
That's that New York in him. That's because us East Coast drivers, we drive real fast. Yeah,
this is a 1996 Camry. It don't do that.
That's the New York. That's that New York blood. Hey, Lionel, you know that you're from Philly. You know how people on the East Coast drive.
Well, we catch the train. We catch the buses. We don't really, we drive, but
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Your drivers, yeah, I know.
Well, that's just crazy, man. You know, that is just crazy. So now we're in quarantine. Everyone, we haven't heard Steven. Steven, what's your love life in the quarantine, bro?
Oh man, I'm right now. I'm just like loving all the comedy that's on. It was a distraction to my love life, dude. I go on, I bring you guys on, I laugh, and then I don't think about like my love life that much.
I thought you was about to turn to a pastor on me.
That shit's a downer like a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's what.
My whole vibe just like my dick went off.
I'm loving it. On my quarantine, I'm loving the Lord God. I'm loving the Lord.
All right. So I whack off to a lot of granny porns. All right, you happy now? You happy? You happy? Granny porn. I whack off to granny porn with the granny panties. Okay, you happy now? Are you happy?
Hey, Sherwin, who you looking for, man? You look.
All right. First thing, this is a whole new movement. We all know for the last couple of years. I want everyone to know I'm fine with granny porn. Don't let the opinions expressed here on Weezy Philosophy. All right.
Cut that down. Jefferson phone. George Jefferson phone. Moving on up.
That phone still has a rotary dial on it. You
That's
remember
moving on up.
The live
East side of the mountain.
I love that ring, man. That's my favorite ring.
Well, you know that I need that ring to wake me up because I sleep hard. All right. And I need to get, and I need a ring that'll wake me up because I'll sleep through that ring every now and then myself. So I'll sleep through that ring. By the way, I want to give a shout out to a young comedian who I met a couple of times, came by my home, and she really works hard, Ariel Solomon. And the reason is because she's been putting some great comments here on Instagram Live. And one of them was like, your big ass can ride a motorcycle, Bigg Weezy. And I wanted to acknowledge the fact that there's one person that love to see my big ass rolling around on the freeway. It would be Ariel Solomon, everyone.
Shout out to Ariel Solomon.
Shout out.
That's it. So that's fantastic. So now we're at the end. We thought we were at the end. The pandemic is spiking. It looks like we're headed for a lockdown. They want to lock the county. LA County's locking the beaches down for the 4th of July. Sherwin, you could be extended in your situation at home with the wife. I think that the reconstructing of the stairs needs to start taking place in order to save whatever solace you may have going on. Herb doesn't give a fuck. And that's the perfect thing about what's going on. Herb is like, where can I find the crackhead pussy? Lionel will be sending you that information, Herb. Make sure that you give him that information and you will get that. Steven hey. Is my heart's pouring out to you, my friend. Because after I get off the show, I'm probably going to be, as we used to say back in the day.
I know one day, you ain't going to be able to talk for us for CNN.
That's it, right. I'm getting some.
We gonna die, nigga.
I'm getting some. I'm getting some tonight. I'm getting some tonight. It's in the bedroom warming up right now. So
I'm dry right now. It's dead over here. Hey Sharon, what's up, man? I like that haircut, man. You look with the super cut. That's super cut's haircut right there.
Now he got the East Coast.
That's the Flowbee. You don't know shit about the Flowbee.
The Flowbee.
I gotta buy some more.
Let me ask you a question, Sharon. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Sure. What's the difference? Do you get a better reaction performing for black crowds or white crowds? Or is it the same?
No. Black crowds are much more lively. Black people, when they laugh too hard, they can't even stay in their seats. They got to get up and run across the room and high five each other and shit. It's a more lively experience. White crowds laugh. But they stay seated. They chuckle, they laugh. Black crowds, when you get black crowds to really laugh, there's nothing like it.
There's nothing like it.
So hey, Weezy, how do you prepare for that, Weezy? Like because I know how do you connect to that? White crowd and then black crowd. Do you change your approach?
Yeah,
I
do make a little bit of an adjustment. I will admit, when I work in front of a black crowd and I'm putting my set list together, the first thing I write is, okay, add 15 more motherfuckers into the set tonight, you know, and I throw in a few more N-bombs into the set, and I'm a little bit more into my street language. I don't speak like I'm speaking now. Sometimes I just mix the two. But I find when I'm working with a black crowd, for me, that I feel like I'm at home. Because when I first started comedy and I did the J spot, I mean, it was crickets. All right. And it took me 3-4 years to learn how to conquer that. All right. 3 or 4 years to learn how to conquer that. And I feel like I go home. When I'm doing a white crowd, it's almost like a vacation, because they, like Sherwin said, you're going to get the sitcom laughs on everything. All right. But the black crowd, when you got a crowd really going, there is a buzz in that crowd. You know what I'm talking about, Lionel. You get that buzz going.
It's just, but sometimes you get some white crowds where they're on it.
Oh, yes.
I agree. So I think that'd be the challenge for me sometimes when I do a black crowd and they like you said, Sharon, and then you do a white room and they're laughing, but they're like,
it is a completely different show. Black crowds are far more intense. They're more excited. They're more lively. White crowds laugh, yes, but they are not nearly as amped up as black audiences. Not.
Do that mess with your confidence?
No, not at all. Because I know that going in. I love performing for black crowds because of that livening. The room you could feel the electricity in the room.
Right. Right. And I can say something about that too, because I talked with Lionel about this a couple of weeks ago. What happened is, and Sherwin said it earlier when he was working for LaBelle, when Katt's on that stage and there's 9,000 people, the electricity, they're stomping. They're stomping in the stands the whole hour. All right. I mean, that is when you're on the side of the stage watching that, it's the most amazing thing to watch.
First of all, I want to say I admire y'all too, man, because y'all perform with some funny people. I'm talking about some of the best in the world. Lavelle Crawford and Katt Williams, like those two guys is just amazing, man. And so for y'all to perform for them, man, and go on a road with them, like that's an amazing accomplishment, man. And that's why I like talking to you, Weez. That's why I like talking to you, Sherwin. Like that's big.
Yes.
Let alone the fan base, but the humor. Y'all, like they trust y'all. People don't understand this. They trust y'all to open it up for them.
Right.
Dude, not only that, man, after the show one night, Lavelle was tired, man. He wanted to get back to the room. He trusted me. He said, "Hey, Sharon, can you give my mom a ride back to the hotel?" I said, "Yeah, no problem. I'll take her." And I made sure, he trusted me to make sure that his mother got back to the hotel, got back to her room, was okay and everything. So they trust us to allow us into their circle. There's a big level of trust there that doesn't come right away. It's earned over a long time.
Listen, I'm going to tell you, if y'all two write a book about the openers, if y'all two write a book about that, man, I'm going to tell you right now, I will go to Barnes & Noble and buy y'all books, man.
Well, you know what? Why don't you prepay for the book right now?
I will. I will. I'm just saying, because that's knowledge. That's knowledge.
But what happened, Lionel? You're gonna get that because remember, you got the Martin Lawrence thing coming up.
No. I understand all that. But what I'm saying is, y'all had that experience, and it's other young. Because here's the thing: we're doing comedy for the world, for ourselves, but we also doing comedy for the next generation.
Yes.
Because it's another generation that's going to come, after us. So I'm quite sure that next generation will love to read about how was it working for Lavelle Crawford? How was it working for Katt Williams? that's stuff that y'all experience, and the world needs to know that.
Right.
If not, we can't, like, you can't take that to the grave.
Right.
Like,
absolutely
and
not.
listen, when I'm a student of stand-up comedy, bro.
Yes.
I'm not in it for the fame. I'm not in it for the money. I'm a student. So I love what y'all do, man.
Yeah, but it doesn't
thank
matter
you. I
what level.
appreciate that.
It doesn't matter what level you are. You will always learn something.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, even George Burns, at living to be 100 years old, doing shows, he learned something on his very last show. Like, you still, you know, you're always going to be a student of this. That's why this is such an exciting industry, because the learning has no ceiling. And
Never.
There's no cap. There's no tapping off of what you can get in your brain, which is why comedians at any level, from open mic all the way to Katt Williams and Weezy and Sherwin and everyone above and beyond, and even laterally in your peer pool, are the most interesting people to listen to because of what they've done, what they've learned, and the fact that they're constantly learning. Just to sit down and chop it up with the comic, you're gonna learn some shit and you're gonna laugh along the way.
That's right.
Me and Weezy will be in the house, and he'll be in a room and I'll be in the other room, and we're like talking behind the doors, going over jokes, going over material, and just listen. Like, that stuff is amazing, man. To even have that, bro.
Yes.
Weezy, you got 5 minutes left on your show, bro. How you wanna close this out? You got 5 minutes.
Well, first I'm going to let Lionel go ahead, give out your social media and some of the things that you right now want to work on, or that you're working on, or something that you see yourself doing. Go.
Man, I'm Lionel Dalton, Facebook, Instagram, man. Like, I'm just happy to be a student of comedy, man, and I get to work with y'all guys. That's pretty much it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And one thing, I said this last week, you know, as comedians, we run into each other when we're at the clubs. And, you know, I have small conversations, but a lot of times I'm just sitting my ass there smoking my cigar, and I'm really watching. I'm watching who's serious about their craft and who's not. And I remember having a conversation with Lionel at the J Spot one night, and I was just taken. All right, I was just taken because I had watched your set, I'd seen your set, I knew your set. All right, and I would watch how you worked it, and then when we had the conversation, it just hit home for me. This guy's the real deal, and I appreciate you for what you do. Sherwin, give it out, bro. People's comedian.
Sir. No, man, I want to give a shout out to all you guys, first of all, for making this all possible. Weezy, thank you for having me on. My armrest thief, man. I would not give up that armrest to anybody but you.
Thank you, sir.
Weezy. But yeah, Steven, Lionel, all you guys, Herb, I know you didn't get much talking time here, but it has been a pleasure watching you around that sandwich. I've truly enjoyed it. You can follow me Instagram, Facebook at Sherwin Array. Shout out to all the comedians up and coming. Just stick with your craft. It takes years to perfect this, and you never really even do. You're always learning, and you're always humbled, and being able to perform with people like Lavelle Crawford has been such a blessing, because as funny as you are, you don't realize funny till you watch him get on the stage, or Katt Williams, or one of these guys. And you sit there and just learn and realize you have so much to learn. So I'm just truly thankful that God has given me this opportunity, and I will do my deed and pass that baton on. And, you know, when I one day, God willing, get to that level, I will bring on other comedians and give them that experience and put my role in passing that baton. So thank you to all of you guys for listening in and making this possible.
No problem. First, you can always find me. I always tell people, you want to find me, just go to BiggWeezy.com, and you can catch all my platforms there. BiggWeezy.com tells you where to find me on Instagram at I am Bigg Weezy and regular Bigg Weezy and all that stuff. But real quickly, Shout out to Steven for having this platform available for me to even just do this. I thank you, sir. I appreciate you giving me this opportunity. And to Lionel and Sherwin, you guys are just amazing. Your work ethic, the things I learned from you, it's just really something, because I have to learn something every day comedically. I have to be inspired comedically on a daily basis. That's my main deal. So I really appreciate everyone. Everyone that was on Instagram, thank you for tuning in and out all night long. PodBrotherNation.com. We'll be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Everybody, Bigg Weezy, peace.
All right, you're amazing, brother. Keep it up the good work, Weezy.
Thank you, man. You guys take care.
Great
Steven,
job, Weezy.
Thank you, guys.
Care,
Thank
buddy.
you, Steve. Thank you,
Yeah,
Herb,
great
Lionel,
job.
Weezy. Thank you,
Lionel.
guys.
Great job, brother. Sherwin?
Thanks, man.